Every day, millions of people go online to search for local businesses. Does your small business show up? When you create a website on WordPress.com, you make it easier for your customers to find you, to connect with you, to hear how you can help them. Your business needs an online home. It needs a WordPress.com website. You don't need experience setting up websites. WordPress guides you through the process from start to finish. They take care of the technical stuff, so it's easy to get your site up and running. Their customer support team is made up of WordPress experts eager to help you get the most from your site. They're available to help 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Plans start at just $4 a month, and all WordPress plans include a custom domain name for the life of the plan. Come see why 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to WordPress.com/Golic to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. That's WordPress.com/Golic for 15% off your brand new website. WordPress.com/Golic.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Adrenaline, adrenaline, adrenaline. Get you ready for Super Bowl week. It's Super Bowl Monday. Like that song.
Wow.
That's not going to ease you out of your REM sleep, will it?
No, that one's just complete overload.
That won Best Rock Song last night at the Grammys. Foo Fighters, right? There you go. Say a little
Grammys last night.
Yeah.
I had said now I'd like to be LeBron for a day, that good of an athlete, and I'd like to dance like Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars, he cleaned up last night. Him and Kendrick Lamar cleaned up. But Bruno Mars dances so well. We had a question out there. Bruno Mars, he's top of his game right now, or Justin Timberlake at the top of his game, dancing and performers.
That's there's no. I want to say there's no wrong answer.
I don't think there is a wrong answer there, but JT separates it a little bit with his golf game. I know you're happy about that.
That's it. If you're looking for deciding things that could tilt you one way or the other,
and the acting thing as well.
And we're not saying Bruno can act.
No, not saying that at all.
He hasn't done the breadth and depth.
We haven't seen the inventory yet from him. There.
The resume is longer,
but man, can he entertain? And I'm with you. If you told me he's the halftime entertainment at the Super Bowls for a while, I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
He can perform.
One thing is really great is to watch Teddy Bruschi jam to a Bruno Mars song, because he believes they're somehow related. Oh, he does. If you take a look, like if you had a much skinnier Teddy Bruschi, he would look a little bit like Bruno Mars. But Teddy does a jam when Bruno Mars songs come on. Just a little thing you needed to know.
I like that.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. By the way, have you seen what's going on in Philadelphia over the last couple of days, which is really great? Boston Market. It's not fast food. It's a pre-prepared chicken.
Yeah, right.
It's good for you. A little better.
It's not sit down. It's not fast.
It's in between.
They need a name for the in between.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. We need a new category.
A name for that.
Yeah, it's almost like pseudo cafeteria style. But
we need a better name than that.
You need a better name than that for what they are. So there's a few Boston Markets in Philadelphia. Well, Boston Market is now fully supporting the Eagles as they are in the Super Bowl for Super Bowl 52. So they have taken a white banner and put it over the Boston part of Boston Market on the outside of the store.
Right.
And it's now called Philly Market.
There you go.
Go Birds.
There you go.
So that's the one thing you love about Super Bowl week. These cities, they get all in behind their team, especially when you're like the Eagles. This is only their third Super Bowl appearance ever.
Right.
And you have Brady and Belichick going for the 8th time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little,
that is amazing.
The discrepancy is ridiculous. So Philly fever is sweeping, Eagles fever sweeping Philadelphia.
All right. We said we need something, not fast food, not sit down. Brett, there's something in between?
Yeah. Apparently it's called fast casual.
Fast casual.
All right.
You know what? Don't like it.
No?
Need a new name.
So you're saying that Boston Market needs to come up with a new marketing trend for their own food?
No. The fast casual term for that type of a place. I need a different name than fast casual.
Okay.
All right. I want a different name.
You know what?
Yeah.
As always, let's go to Twitter.
I wasn't going to think of it.
Come on, you guys help us out here. It's not fast food. It's not sit down. Golic doesn't like fast casual.
Fast casual. I don't like it.
So we'll see if you can come up with something else. What can we call that sort of in-between restaurant?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. You know what? Maybe we can get that trending.
I would like that.
And let's start with what's trending.
Woo!
Tiger Woods did something he hadn't done in about a year and a half. Completed 4 rounds of a tournament. Over 2 years, actually. First full tournament in over 2 years. An even par round Sunday, 3 under par, so he was in the top 25, 23rd place overall, tie 23 in the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines.
And he drove the ball ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Army golf.
He couldn't hit a green.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't hit a fairway. He had eight fairways the first round, 3 in the next 3 rounds. So 17 total fairways, the least amount he's hit in a PGA Tour event, which he completed all 4 rounds. He putted extremely well, couldn't drive the ball at all. But, you know, he ends up completing, as Trey said, 4 days, 4 rounds for the first time since 2015. By the way, Jason Day and Alex Noren, they're going to finish their sudden death playoff. They won 5 holes. Who was it? Ryan Palmer joined them in the first hole, and he was out right away.
He made a par on the first playoff hole. The other 2 made birdie.
So Jason and Alex played 5 holes. Darkness got to them. They come out today. Could be done in 1 hole. It's sudden death. So we'll see who wins that as they sit there and say, everybody's talking about Tiger. Look at us. We're all holding out the big check. But you know why you're talking about Tiger? Wait to see the ratings.
Yep.
And you see just how different they are with Tiger in the field. That's just the way it is, gang.
And you mentioned that big check. You know why that check is big? Because of Tiger
Tiger
Woods.
helped a lot there, yes.
I mean, look, every golfer that makes a ton of money really owes a lot of it to because Tiger made it interesting.
You say golfer?
Golfer, not golfer. Golfers, you idiot.
Okay.
Not my fault. No one can understand what you're saying. Little Caddyshack there.
I just wanted you to go down that road.
Thank you. And I took the bait, by the way.
You did.
How about this? The NBA is going to increase its All-Star Game winning bonus to $100,000. Members of the winning All-Star team previously gotten a $50,000 bonus. That's now going to be $100,000. The loser will stay at 25. So
I like
that's
that.
a $75,000 discrepancy.
Like you know how you want to make these? People always talk about, the Pro Bowl. They're not even hitting out there until the end when there's 64 for the winner and 32 for the loser. Same way with the NBA game that's usually 200 to 190 is coming to the end for that money. You want to make it more competitive?
Yeah.
Add up the money that the winner take all.
Yeah.
Winner take all. Winner gets 100, losing team, Zippola.
Yeah.
You get nothing.
You get a participation trophy.
You want to see that jack up a little bit? I kind of like that. And I'm going to give this guy some love again because that's for that All-Star game. We just had the Pro Bowl we talked about. The NHL All-Star game was this weekend as well. And let's give it up for Brock Besser from Vancouver, the only rookie on either roster. He was the MVP of the game. So this is what his weekend was like. In the skills challenge, he won the accuracy contest, so he won $25,000. He was on the winning all-star team, so he got $100,000 for that. He was the MVP of the game, so he won a car, and it triggered a $212,500 bonus in his contract. So that dude, Brock, you had the weekend, my friend.
That's about a $412,000 weekend for
and
him. He's a rookie.
Rookie. Yeah. You want to score some brownie points, man, you give that car to somebody unless you really need it.
Yeah.
You're scoring big time there. Good job out of him.
That worked all the way around.
Yeah,
so
it did.
Kendrick Lamar and Bruno, congratulations on the Grammys. Brock had himself a
big
weekend.
winner.
And how about this? Or maybe we should have all seen this coming.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Former UFC champ Ronda Rousey is now joining the WWE, Mike.
Well, it's not shocking at all. Listen, we remember talking about her. I mean, all the things we're talking about with Conor McGregor, we were talking about with her, right?
Yep.
I mean, she couldn't be beat. What woman could beat her? Who could actually beat her? She was not only winning, she was destroying everybody. And then she lost. Holly Holm knocked her out, and all of a sudden it was Dolph Lundgren. Look, he's bleeding.
Exactly.
He's bleeding. You found out she could be beat. She loses her next one. She's done in that sport and going to WWE where she can be a showman. She was here a lot. She has a great personality. She's been in movies. So she'll take that showmanship and personality to the WWE where, she's very athletic. And I think she'll be successful. It's still a big name, a good name out there in sports. And she's making a career shift there, which is probably the right way to go right now in this one, considering the last 2 times she went in the ring. And it seems she really kind of lost her mojo for that one as well.
Well, look, she said, this is my life now. First priority on my timeline for the next several years. So this is not sort of a one-and-done thing for her. This is definitely where she says she's going to be. So, we'll see what happens with her, and we'll see what the next chapter unfolds.
Yeah, listen, that's a sport of promotion.
Correct.
And then how you promote yourself, and so I think it'll go pretty well.
I'm pretty sure she'll do okay in that genre.
I would
you know who else did okay over the weekend?
Who's that?
That would be Roger Federer.
Yes, he did.
Won his 20th major or Grand Slam title in tennis at the age of 36. second oldest man to ever win a slam behind Ken Rosewall, who was 37, by the way, I think in 72 when he won the Australian Open. And for more on what Roger accomplished and what it means and how much longer he can keep doing this, let's bring in one of our great tennis analysts. I've had the pleasure of working with her the last couple of years at Wimbledon at the U.S. Open. Pam Shriver is with us. Pam, good morning. Are you over the Australia time yet? You okay? Everything good?
No, I would have loved to have slept another couple straight hours, but it was too important to get up and talk to you guys at 5 a.m. here in a little after 5 in L.A. time.
Oh, we're gonna have to try this one again. Hey, Pam, hold on one sec. We're going to put you on hold and we're going to try and...
We had a connection there.
Yeah,
so.
It's kind of a Morse code connection we got working right now.
I felt like she was trying to give us a hint about something, like I'm in danger or something.
Yeah. Either that or she's doing it on purpose because she really doesn't want to be up this early.
Exactly. Which, by the way, I get.
Yeah,
I get.
Right.
You're 19 years into this. I'm 3 months in. I get it. I understand that.
Huh? We'll try and get her back. We're trying to now base it off at 36 years old, him winning his 20th Grand Slam, Tom Brady being 40 years old and playing in his 8th Super Bowl. If you know, and this is what you start to do. You start to compare careers.
Okay, I think we got Pam back with a better connection. Pam, you there? We good?
Yeah, it's a first if my landline at my Canyon Road is worse than my cell phone, but here we go.
All right. Go figure.
Whatever works.
We're good now.
Thanks for getting up early. So just so people understand what Federer's doing, actually, you know, what so many tennis players on the men's side are doing. The age of 30 seems to be the new dominant thing in tennis. But Roger, you know, he's won 3 of the last 5 after a 4-year slam drought. Is he playing right now as well as he's ever played?
Well, he's certainly playing tactically as well as he's ever played. I mean, you could look at some of his most dominant years, say in 04, 05, 06, when he was absolutely just crushing everybody, except he was struggling to win the French until 09. But he was beating them with sort of just his skill, his power, his placement. And then when Nadal and Djokovic and Murray came along, he's been sort of forced in those years where they were collecting their major titles. I think he was forced to a reckoning if he was going to get back on top. He needed to play a little differently. So his backhand has stepped up as a bigger weapon. His serve is his serve has always been great, but I feel like he's using the serve, his placements, his off pace. He's coming to the net more. I felt for a while he was happy becoming a bashing baseliner with Nadal or with Djokovic too much. And now he's gone back to shorter points and just smarter play. And so he's a better player, yes.
You look at this tournament, Nadal gets beat, Joker gets beat, Murray's not in it. He's got the hip issue he's dealing with. Just to ask it, you don't want to deter from anything that Federer has done. Where is the men's tennis game, though? Where are the young, up-and-coming players? Because these are the 4 we've been talking about for a while. Is there a new crew coming up, and when will they start to kind of take notice here?
Well, the guy down under in Melbourne who made the most headlines of a new generation would be Hyung Chung of South Korea. He got to the semifinals. He beat Djokovic. He beat Zverev, the other good young player from Germany. So at the moment, but here's the problem, is that nobody has been able to sort of step up in a consistent way, and that's what they're kind of looking for. But if they're looking for another Roger Federer, they may have to wait another 100 years because that kind of athlete doesn't come around but once every so often. But it's a time of transition, but in the meantime, we're still enjoying the Federer era.
Without question. Pam Shriver with us, our fine tennis analyst, talking about Roger Federer defending his Australian Open title and winning his 20th. But you're right. It doesn't look like Roger's going away anytime soon. This is the 6th straight slam on the men's side, Pam, won by someone over the age of 30. Obviously, a lot of that is Roger, but it's also Nadal and Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic. What do we make of how much longer this group, and I guess especially Federer, as he's continuing to sort of distance himself from everybody with the number of slams, how many more years do we think we can see this top level of tennis from him?
And how many more years will we have Tom Brady in the Super Bowl?
Right.
You know, it's interesting that there's so much money in the sport. And there was actually a meeting down in Melbourne of the top players where they told everybody who wasn't a player to get out of the room because they're trying to figure out whether or not they should position themselves in a laboring negotiation so that they can get even maybe more prize money from the majors because the amount of money that the big tournaments made to the players, the questions being asked, are the players getting the percentage that they should be getting? I mean, the top players obviously are earning phenomenal money. But manage yourselves. They have a team around them. Back when I played, it was like maybe you had a coach. And maybe when you went home, you saw your physical therapist. Now, they bring their physical therapist on the road. They bring their fitness trainer on the road. Maybe they bring, at the big tournaments, they'll bring their nutritionist, their chef. Obviously, they have a coach. They have a hitting partner. My God, when you look up there, and I think it's helping manage the careers. I'm waiting now for the time where they look up and they say, I want to thank my serving coach. I want to thank my forehand coach. My volley coach, we had a great tournament this time. But anyway, it's just, I'm not quite sure where it's going to stop, but in this day and age, it's big business, especially at the very, very top.
Well, the money that these guys and the women win for taking the top, you're right, is ridiculously large. Pam Shriver with us, our tennis analyst, talking about once again another dominating performance by Roger Federer. We talked about, and Mike brought it up, we know Nadal, Joker, and all these guys. I think a lot of people in America are still waiting for that next U.S. star. Andy Roddick was the last American male player to win a slam. Francis Tiafoe was a guy that took Roger Federer to 5 sets at the U.S. Open in round 1 this past September. Where's the future of American men's tennis right now?
I still think it's an unknown. I mean, you have a guy older than Tiafoe, but he's still on the way up. And when you talk about players playing well into their 30s, somebody like Jack Sock, if he can continue to mature and play better each year, you wonder if he can't win a major. But there's no automatic, there's no, like, Pete Sampras's talent at an early age was so obvious. And Agassi, the same thing, and going back to and Jim Courier and Chang, that was the last great American male generation. And then you go back even further. I mean, Connors was just a street-fighting, competitive tennis player from Belleville, Illinois, who you knew was going to be great. And John McEnroe at 19, you knew it. We don't have that same. We know this person's going to be great. So we'll have to wait and see who matures and who's got some developing talent that we maybe comes out at age 25, 27. But in the meantime, thank goodness we've been in the Williams era on the women's side for the last 15, 18 years.
Absolutely. And by the way, kudos to Caroline Wozniacki, who finally got her first slam. She had that title you never wanted, being number 1 without winning a slam. But she took care of that, taking out Simona Halep in a great 3-set finish on the women's side. You know what? We don't know what happens with the future of American men's tennis, but we should enjoy this Federer thing as long as it's possible. And we enjoyed, Pam, you getting up early with us this morning. We know that's not easy coming back from Australia. So thanks for getting up and shedding a little light on what we saw in Australia over the weekend.
Thanks, Pam.
Well, thanks. Hope to go back to sleep.
Thanks, Pam. Pam Shriver with us as again. Roger Federer wins the Australian Open at 36.
So how do we look at this? Roger Federer and Tom Brady.
Well, look, the idea of getting smushed on any play is obviously much more in favor of Tom Brady.
Yes, because from the physical side of getting hit to pain is Brady, but the physical output and endurance and in shape, athleticism is speed. Certainly Federer side of this.
Look, I don't think the thing that makes tennis players to me very unique is that they're out there by themselves.
Right.
Now, you can say a golfer, but a golfer has a caddy. And that can be I've seen caddies help guys win tournaments. You are out there on an island as a tennis player. And if you're going up against Rafa Nadal or Roger Federer, you better be prepared to go 3.5 hours and 5 sets in about 100-degree heat.
Right.
That's how extreme the level of fitness is for tennis
One
players.
of the things in golf is you are playing the entire field. In
Correct.
tennis, you're only playing the person in front of you.
Exactly
so
right. Like Rafa and Roger never met.
However many matches it's going to take, and certainly the way some of these are set up when you're one of the top players in the world, your first few matches are not supposed to be against, you do get that occasional upset, but they're against lesser opponents. So, and then with Tom's on one side of the ball.
Right.
There's 3 aspects to the game of football: offense, defense, special team. He only does one. That's why I know you do as well. We so hate the association of the quarterback with the Super Bowl.
Right.
How many wins do they have? Because you have a defense and special teams out there as well.
Well, there's 2 dynamics. There really is that the team sport guy that's dominant, a Brady or a Jordan, in terms of how they do it and how they carry their teams a lot of the ways? Or is it the singular guy that's out there? You're right. The golfer thing is the most unique because there's not a draw. He's playing everybody. So you have to look at it that way. But from a pure athletic standpoint, I think that what you're asking your body to do at 36 and what Federer and Nadal and Djokovic and Murray, but Federer especially, to win 3 of the last 5 at the advanced age of 35 or 36, from a pure athletic standpoint in terms of running, jumping, strength, dexterity, agility, I'm not sure anything comes close to that.
It is tough. I think from an athletic ability side and output, basketball, you'd have to look at those players, but they, again, have other players out on the court as well.
Unless you're LeBron, you take minutes off.
Even though you're playing offense and defense out there when you're on the court. And I guess you do have to ask. Now, we're talking about, Rogers 36. The other 3 we're talking about are 30 and 31, right? Murray and Nadal and the Joker. So I guess another fair question is, it is something that to be said about the quality of play on the men's side. Yeah. These guys are good. You don't want to take anything away, but they don't seem to be getting pushed right now by the younger crew.
The only thing that I would say to that is we have this unique situation where we have Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer all there with double-digit slams. And I'm not sure we've ever had – Agassi, as good as he was, only won 8. Sampras was the record setter, I think, at 13, and now Roger has 20. That is amazing. That's a big chasm, and I think Nadal's at 14 or 15. So yes, to your point, you're right. It is these 3 guys, but it's like having Arnie and Jack playing against each other at the same time.
Quite honestly, on the women's side, before pregnancy, it's 1.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Serena.
That's why all these women are hoping to get their slams in now while Serena's either out pregnant, having the baby, or recovering from the baby.
Serena, take your time coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
You take care of that lovely kid.
Take another 3 months. We'll be here when you get back at 38 or 39.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Roger, and thanks for Pam for coming on and sort of helping us put into perspective what we've got doing. And then we got Brady at the age of 40 trying to win a 6th. No one has ever done that. He and one other player, the only ones with 5. We'll talk to one of Brady's former teammates, an athlete in his own right, by the way, we should point out. The big man, Damian Woody, will join us. We're glad you're with us. We're getting ready for our travel plans, heading down to Minneapolis tomorrow. We'll be doing our show from the Mall of America Hard Rock Cafe Wednesday through Friday. And Damian Woody, our NFL analyst, in studio, giving us a straight talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Damian, straight talk now. You went through this twice with the Patriots in 2001 and 2003, getting ready for a Super Bowl. Obviously, in 2001, it was bizarre because that was the first one after 9/11. Everything was it was the first real security we've ever had. I remember that Super Bowl going to the stadium and seeing tanks in the streets. I'm like, that's new. I hadn't seen that before. So let's sort of take that one out. But let's talk about Super Bowl 38 that you were a part of in Houston. How does Bill Belichick go about getting his team ready? How much is done the week before the team gets there, and how much is done once you get there?
I remember, that week of practice was so hard. Now, this is pre the new CBA.
Right.
It might have been the hardest practices that we ever had in the season.
See, I heard Jimmy Johnson did the same thing in Dallas when he took those guys.
It was absolutely brutal, but he was definitely sending a message, guys. This is business. This is business. We were locked down the whole week. I know in Super Bowl 36, Super Bowl 38, we had strict curfews once we got down there because we wasn't there to go to parties and do all those type of things. We were there for one thing. His whole thing was, let's take care of business this week. Let's get the trophy, get the win, get the ring, and then you can go. We can party after the game and on into the off season. But right now, this whole week, we got one focus. That's to win the Super Bowl.
And players in all sports, really. So in our sport, you're conditioned for continuity, doing the same thing week in and week out, week in and week out. Just how different is it when you get to that first week, taking care of tickets? You hear all the stories of only you guys that went to the Super Bowl that know of these. Of you hear Tom and others say at some point you got to start saying no. Just how overbearing is it?
Well, I know I was a young guy, during that time. I was in my early 20s, so it's hard when everyone is coming at you, people you haven't heard from in a while. Hey, what's going on, man? Congratulations. You think I can get, a ticket or two to the game? Everyone and their mama is coming at you. And again, like I said, I tell a lot of young guys that's in the league now, the hardest thing you can do is say no to people. But that's absolutely what you have to do, because at the end of the day, they're not paying for things. You are.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's going to be coming out of your pocket. So Coach Belichick always used to say, you know what? We need to take care of this stuff early in the week. Like Monday, no later than Tuesday, that off week before Super Bowl week. Get that stuff done so we can focus on what's really important. That's preparation for the Super Bowl.
Well, as you get ready for the Super Bowl, how much did Bill put in, like game plan wise, Damian Woody with us in studio, before you went down there, or did he do it when you guys were down there at Super Bowl week?
No, if I had to say a percentage, probably I would say at minimum it was at least a half, maybe more.
Halfway done before you got there.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And then when we got down there, we finished, kind of added on to what we did during that off week. But again, man, it was the tempo of practice, the length of practice, the hitting that we were doing. Man, if you weren't ready to play that week, I don't know what other week you would be ready to play, because, I mean, those were some of the most intense practices that we've ever had.
Yep. So as you now, from a football player standpoint, when you prepare for this game, I envision, game planning, and then how it's got to be the same for individual play, because I just envision the interior offensive line for the New England Patriots watching tape on Fletcher Cox saying, okay, all right. Yeah. So when does it break to that for you as an O-lineman, from a game plan of scheme to, okay, these are the individuals that we're going to play against?
I mean, you're getting a taste of that, but I've always said once you get past media day, because media day, obviously falls on a Tuesday and guys tend to have some fun with that. Once you get past that, then it's like, okay, no more. There's no more distractions. There's really no more distractions from us. You might have little media obligations throughout the rest of the week leading up, but pretty much for the most part, you're honed in on your preparation, individual matchups, situations, as far as the game is concerned. And trust me, those guys are looking at Fletcher Cox and like, okay, we're going to put he's definitely has a bullseye on him. Because that's what Bill does. They put the bullseye on the guys who could be potential problems. Right. He did that with JJ. Like, he had like triple teams on JJ Watt.
JJ Watt was not going to ruin that game.
Was not. Yeah. He's not going to be the guy to ruin the game. And I'm pretty sure Fletcher Cox is going to be in that same boat where he's not going to ruin the game.
Okay, so Damian Woody with us. Obviously, we know how you feel and from your experiences on the Patriots side. Look, it's pretty clear that the Patriots are a favorite for a reason. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. It's their 8th trip together, Brady and Belichick, which is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So make the case for Philadelphia. They wear those masks for a reason. They love the fact that they're the underdog. If this thing is going to go the underdog's way, and they'll be the only other team besides the Giants to find a way to take down the Patriots in the Super Bowl, what's the number one thing they've got to do?
Don't beat themselves. Bill always say more teams find ways to lose games than win them. Anytime you watch the Patriots, go back to the AFC Championship game. And when I say don't beat yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't necessarily mean turnovers. It can be costly penalties. A.J. Bouye, the pass interference gave the Patriots great field position. Next thing you know, they go down. James White scores a touchdown. It's plays like that. It's tide-turning plays like that. 3rd and 18. Against the Jaguars, you got them right where you want them. You give up 19 yards.
Protect the sticks.
Yeah, it's things like that you can't do those things against the Patriots. So if you're Philadelphia, you got to play all the situations the right way. You got to play the game the right way, because if you mess up a situation, you do, boneheaded penalty, the Patriots going to pounce on it, and that's how they find ways to win.
And quite honestly, we saw in Jacksonville, it's not even the penalty all the time. It's not adjusting to their adjustment.
Right.
When all of a sudden they're chipping your ends and you don't have an answer for that, you're not doing anything. When you're running the ball into an 8-9-man box and giving Blake Bortles a 2nd and 9 to deal with. So I guess from that aspect, would you, assuming is never a good thing to do, it wouldn't be shocking if Philly was ahead in this game.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
It's kind of like how Jacksonville's ahead, maybe not by that much, we would see. But for Philly, I just don't see them sitting on it like Jacksonville did.
No, I don't see that. I think, Doug Peterson has just done a masterful job. I mean, think about this. You lose a potential MVP of the league in Carson Wentz. Most people's like, the Eagles are toast. You bring in Nick Foles, and, Nick Foles is throwing for all these yards. You lose your star left tackle,
right.
Plug in another one, and the train just keeps rolling. That's coaching. Coaching allows you to overcome, losing personnel like that. Most teams, they lose their star left tackle, star quarterback, they're fried.
Toast.
But the fact that the Eagles have overcome that and are in the Super Bowl, I mean, you got to give Doug Peterson a lot of credit.
You're right. I do think, as Damian Woody is with us in studio, one thing I do love about this matchup, and Mike, you can attest to this too, these teams have both persevered, okay? And I know how can you say that with the Patriots? They have Belichick, they have Brady. Okay, they lost their first 2 home games of the year. The first 6 games of the season, every quarterback they faced, they gave up 300 yards. They had to figure it out, okay? And look at they may have lost their best defensive player in Dante Hightower. Gronk has been in and out of the lineup a couple of times. They haven't had Edelman all year. And then you have the Eagles with what they've done, the injuries. I like the fact that both these teams have persevered. They found a way when it wasn't looking like it was going to be there. You lose your MVP, and you find a way for Nick Foles to throw for 300-plus yards against the number 1 defense in football. That is about a commitment to the next man up more than anything I can think of. Both of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, football is a battle of attrition, and you're going to have injuries along the way. But guess what? Your opponent's not going to feel sorry for you. They're not going, I'm sorry that you guys lost your starting quarterback. You got to keep going. It literally has to be next man up. We got to find a way to win. We got to scheme, do whatever we got to do to win. And you got to give credit to Doug Peterson and the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, so probably the big question out of the Super Bowl, you were in Super Bowl 38. You guys beat Carolina 32-29. But what was the headline coming out of that Super Bowl? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And when you heard about it, Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson.
Right.
When did you, as a player in that game, it happened at halftime, you're in the locker room, so I don't imagine you heard about it at that point, but when did you hear about that?
I heard about it right after my wife told me.
And right after the game or after halftime?
No, right after the game.
I was going to say, I didn't see your wife.
After the game. I was like, did you know what happened? At halftime? I'm like, no, I wasn't aware of it. And she kind of broke it down, and it was like the buzz. It was like the talk of the whole
I didn't know if it would be buzzing around the sideline at all.
Wasn't there a guy that jumped on the field at that game early? I think there was a guy that ran onto the field. Yes. He's one of those great prankers. He was trying to get on the field. They shut him down pretty quickly too.
With the quickness. But it was. I mean, obviously, it was a great game because, field goal won the game, but still, a lot of the buzz was the whole halftime show. I don't think we're going to have that
back.
He's back, but
it took him 13 years.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to mess up that opportunity again.
Well, we had Pat Shurmur on. He said there's a million things I wouldn't do the second time around. I'm assuming that goes to the halftime show as well, right?
Do we think when JT or his people were asked to do the Super Bowl, it was brought up, hey, Justin, remember last time? do you think they had to at least bring it up to him to say, can we not have this again, or just kind of let it go?
I think you had to at least vet it out a little bit. Like, hey, man, I know it was a long time ago, but we got to do our due diligence here.
Well, you know what? Listen, cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Literally cover all your bases. Yes. David, we appreciate you being with us, my friend.
Thanks, David.
You on NFL Live today?
I am.
All right. Have fun. Enjoy Wang Chung. All right, with you on Golic and Wingo. Coming up next hour, really excited about this. We're going to have Ken Rogers. Who is Ken Rogers, you say? Well, I'm about to tell you. Mm-hmm. He's the director of the new ESPN 30 for 30, which is coming up Thursday. It'll air Thursday or February 1st to some.
Right.
The Two Bills. And it's basically chronicling the football life and sort of friendship of Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells. Now, if you're a football junkie, this thing is remarkable. The access that they got to both Parcells and Belichick and the candidness they got really from Belichick more than Parcells blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll learn some stuff.
Yes,
man.
You definitely will.
And you'll see these guys, both of them, in a completely different light.
Yeah, but you also see where Belichick is going as an assistant.
Absolutely.
You could see what's happening, for sure.
It is. So it's remarkable. Again, It's going to be on. I can't recommend it enough. The Two Bills, Thursday, February 1st. We'll have the director, Ken Rogers. I just love to sit down and find out how he got the access and how he convinced both of them to do it. I mean, that's sort of the big thing.
That's the truth. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so Tom Brady and company are on their way down to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Now, every week, Tom Brady does a weekly hit on WEEI radio station in Boston. Well, there's a documentary out now called Tom versus Time about his ability to have this amazing career. And I think the first episode came out, and a host on WEEI, another host, watched it and said something that he shouldn't have said, quite frankly. He made a disparaging remark about one of Tom's kids, a 5-year-old daughter, which I don't know why you would ever do that.
Don't know why.
On any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom appeared on his weekly radio show and on WEEI, and this is how that went.
I've tried to come on this show for many years and showed you guys a lot of respect. I've always tried to come on and, do a good job for you guys. So, it's very disappointing when you hear that, certainly with my daughter or any child, they certainly don't deserve that. So I'll obviously evaluate whether I want to come on this show again. So I really don't have much to say this morning.
That's fine. I understand. That's totally fine.
I will, maybe I'll speak with you guys some other time.
Absolutely fine. We understand.
Have a good day.
All right, Tom, you too.
And that was the end of the interview.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, I don't know why you'd say something about a kid, a 5-year-old, actions of a kid, or any. I don't know why you'd want to do that or bring that up. And I think Tom would have Tom reacted. Forget Tom Brady, the football player.
That's a parent.
That's a parent.
Yeah.
Anybody's a parent out there, and someone to say, especially whether it's to you or you hear it, or in this case to an audience out there listening. About your kid, the football player doesn't come out at all. The parent comes out. So
that's Papa Bear speaking.
I can't. There's no way I could sit there and say, "Boy, I have any kind of issue with his response at all." Be interesting to see if he wants to go on with those guys anymore. I don't know the rapport he has with them. I know he's been going on with them. So
to be fair, it's a different. Yeah, the person that said this was not part of the show that he normally goes on, but
exactly.
It's the same station.
Same station. So that's obviously up to Tom. But as I said, that was Tom Brady, the parent. Not Tom Brady, the football player, right there, and I think he did what just about any parent would do in that situation, given what was said about his kid.
Of course, and then you've got what's happening today. It's opening night, they call it now, at the Super Bowl media night. I'm sure he'll be asked about this question.
Oh yeah, and he'll handle it
as he always does.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're not, hey,
I think I'll handle it just fine.
I've said what I had to say. I'm not talking about that anymore.
Right.
I mean, if he can deal with the issue with the hand last week, Handgate, I'm pretty sure he can handle this one.
I would say so.
The one thing I can guarantee you about this Super Bowl is the Patriots will not be distracted by anything.
No, they will not.
Okay, they went through the whole Deflategate a few years ago, and they had to deal with that. Actually, 2 seasons, really, as was hovering over them. So I don't think if the Eagles win, it will have nothing to do with anything that didn't happen on the field.
I think the biggest thing going on for the Patriots, it's not going to be Tom's hand, because Tom's hand has 2 weeks more than when he played with it.
Looked pretty good in the second half against the Jaguars.
To me, and I think he's going to be cleared to play. It's going to be Gronk.
Yeah.
Now, again, they won a Super Bowl last year without him, and they came back in the second half without him, but you'd rather have Gronk on the field. So to me, that's the biggest question of the week for him that only the doctors are going to be answering, one day hopefully going up for Patriot fans, going up to Bill Belichick and said that Rob Gronkowski has clear concussion protocol and he can play.
If they find a way to win and he doesn't play and they win without Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski, what do you do?
I know.
What do you do? Coming up, the director of the new 30 for 30 on his relationship and the relationship between Parcells and Belichick.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.